This is the Toronto Today podcast. I'm your host, Greg Brady.
It's noteworthy. You think about how much time passes in 32 years. There's people that would have been raising kids who are now senior citizens. And two very different retirements, I think, happened in our province and probably across our country, too. Pension versus non-pension. You know, my parents are teachers. I talk about that. And people that work in the public sector often retire with pretty predictable inflation-protected monthly income. But so many do not. And I don't know the appetite to talk about public programs like old age security and the Canada Pension Plan and a guaranteed income supplement. But I do know that you know, if we don't fight for the people that raised us, people that we're going to become someday, it won't be great for us when we're much, much older. Somebody who's been doing that is a seniors advocate and the former deputy minister of the Department of Children, Seniors and Social Development for the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. And she's in Toronto today to accept a well-deserved award from the RTOERO. She is Susan Walsh. It's great to have you on the show. Thanks for making You're on an exciting morning, of course, so thank you for making the time.
Yes, it is an exciting morning. Great job.
Tell me
Go
about,
Jays.
Yeah, go Jays. Tell me about the work you do and when you started and why it matters so much to take care, again, as I put it, I try to put it bluntly, the people that raised us. We need to do better than we've been doing on a lot of levels.
Well, I totally agree with your intro there. We know that seniors in this country are hurting. And there seems to be a belief that they're not because there are some social safety net programs like OAS and GIS. But the truth is that those programs are not enough, that we're seeing more and more seniors slip between the cracks. We have more seniors who have become homeless as seniors, never homeless in their lives until they became seniors, 65 plus. That's wrong. And we need to do something about it because who built our country? Who did all the right things, paid their taxes, had big families? All the things, built our infrastructure. And now in their golden years, when we should be taking care of them, we're going to let them slip between the cracks. It's not good enough.
Food bank use is climbing a lot for seniors in the last 10 years. And I agree with you. I think it lands, I don't know why it does. And I don't think this makes us bad people, but it does land differently when I see somebody, begging for change or sleeping outside in a bus stand. I do feel differently, Susan, when I see a 70-year-old than when I see a 25. I shouldn't. I should feel exactly the same. But I'm like, that man's story or that woman's story was not meant to end up this way.
Absolutely not. And we're not pitting age against age. That's not the issue. But the data, the research absolutely shows that it is much harder in your older years to be homeless, to be poor. The data confirms it will lead to an earlier death than a younger person. And so I'm not saying that, younger people obviously need help as well. But older folks, their bodies, they just can't take that level of stress of being homeless, of being poor. They need support more so. And of course, if they had a lifetime of poverty, that only means that there's more health issues, those kind of things. And if you talk to any of the people working in the systems, the housing system, the income support systems, they'll absolutely tell you it's the hardest group to rehouse, to help get back on their feet. Because, a lot of older seniors are not using social media. So, if they're looking for an apartment, it's all done through social media these days. They have more things. If they had, a lifetime of not living in poverty and they had, they rented a house and now they can't keep up with rental rates. Well, where's all their stuff going when they've been reno evicted, right? Because the landlord knows they can get a higher rate. And so they want these people out. And so then where's their stuff going while they're trying to find somewhere else to go? So no, it is a different story for older people in our society. And we do need to focus on them differently.
What do you see other countries doing? I know there's countries in Europe that don't seem to have the crisis that we have, say, for long-term care, that basically seniors are able to age out more in their homes. And some people might say, is that about ideology? Is that a more socialist government? No, not necessarily at all. There's European countries that have just figured out how to take care of, in essence, our parents and grandparents better. Are we not doing what some of these other nations are?
We absolutely aren't. I actually had just had a learning opportunity there a month ago in the Netherlands. I was invited over
Mm.
by their health system to review their system for learnings, and it's clear to me that what they've done is they've said we are going to support our older adults, our seniors in the community. We're not going to focus on, how do we just help them, in terms of putting them in long-term care until death. No, we want to keep them healthy. We want to keep them in community. We want them connected to community. And by doing so, they've built an infrastructure that's affordable for seniors to remain in their communities. And we all know if you're remaining in a community where you're linked to, others, you're absolutely going to be better off and well longer. And so they've really focused on prevention, early intervention, supporting seniors throughout the ages, from 55 through, in a different way than we have. We haven't put that infrastructure in place. We in Canada kind of deal with, do we have enough long-term care beds? And I mean,
Mm.
long-term care in Canada seems to be more of a, this is where you go in your final days to pass away. We know that even down in the States, there's situations where people are going into long-term care for respite to get, muscle tone back, to get healthier, and they go back out into community. It's not a place you go to die.
No.
And so we have a lot of work to do in Canada.
Last question I got for you, and feel free to stretch out this answer. I look and I go, I see so much that we could be doing with people once they reach a certain age who still have that vitality, whether they have a partner, whether they don't. And I even look at our healthcare system and I say, I know there's a lot of argument and it gets politicized. And I look and I go, everything except the emergency room, Susan, to me feels like two-tier. We're just talking about it right now. If you've got a pension and you're a 70-year-old, you got much better healthcare options than if you're 70 and you don't. So I don't know what the fix is. I just know what we're doing isn't working and we're not willing to talk about it.
And I couldn't agree with you more, Greg. The issue here, if you boil it all down, I mean, because it's a huge issue, but if you boil it all down, is ageism. We do not believe that seniors are an opportunity. Instead, we think that they are a drain, that they're costing too much in the healthcare system. They're too much of a drain on the system, all of that. And that is tied to the fact that we knew that this growth in the number of seniors in Canada was going to happen, but we as in governments, did not prepare for it. And now we're paying the price. And so instead of saying, okay, well, we didn't prepare, bad us, let's do what we need to do to, turn the tide here, we're blaming seniors for that. We have an ageist view in this country. And to me, and I know to RTOERO, who's the organization who have invited me here today,
Yeah.
me and many other advocates in this country are very seriously saying we need seniors advocates throughout every province in this country and a national advocate, because until you take it out of the political sphere and make it such that it's independent, that we're independently looking at the best interests of seniors and pressing governments to take the right approach in terms of how they're spending including seniors, everyone pays taxes, tax dollars, it's not going to change. It's ageist views.
I think it's one of the last groups we discriminate against. So I'm glad you said it for what it is. I really do. I think it's almost permitted discriminations. Susan Walsh, thank you very much for the time. Hope it won't be our last conversation, because I want to flesh out some of these ideas down the line when we got more time. And congratulations on your award today for all you've done for our generation that raised us.
Thanks for your interest, Greg.
Bet. There's Susan Walsh. I think that's an important conversation to have. Generally, what we do is we just you watch governments. They all do it. I'm not saying this is about this government or that government or liberals, conservatives. They just basically say, and we've got a new benefit for seniors and there's a discount, and we just give them all the same check. Well, they don't need the same check. They got different needs. We would never do that with teenagers.
Thanks for listening to the Toronto Today podcast. We drop the highlights of the daily show every weekday morning. Don't forget, you can hear the entire show on the radio, at home, on your smart speaker. Ask Alexa or say, hey, Google, play 640 Toronto or Toronto Today. You can hear us on between 5:30 and 9 weekdays on 640 Toronto. Have a great day.